My name is Yusuf Johnson. Subject code and title HCD 420 Human Central Design. Lecturer name Omar Hassan. Topic Evolution of Technology in the past 30 years to date. A microprocessor is a computer processing where the data process logic and control is included in a single integrated or a small numbers of integrated circle. It contains the arithmetic logic to perform the function a computer central processing unit CPU. A microprocessor is a multi-purpose chips that can be used in conjunction with memory and specialties chips and is pre-programmed by software. It takes a data as input and output and process it in accordance with the instruction kept in the memory. This microprocessor performs a wide range of tasks, including data storage, communicate with other devices, and other timely tasks. However, sending and receiving data is what makes a computer need to operate properly. Evolution of microprocessor. In many modern devices, the microprocessor has grown in importance in first to fifth generation, where the division used to describe the evolution of microprocessor. The fourth generation with fourth bit, the microprocessor does this sequential action for each instruction in turning before updating the instruction pointer and fetch the next instruction. The second generation with 8 bit, the overlapping process for fetching the code and execute what execute the second generation of microprocessor. The third generation was 16-bit. These were 16-bit processor with a performance like mini computer. The fourth generation with a 2-bit, it converted from commercial microprocessor to in-house design, followed by the Pentium processor in 1993, which had 60 MHz. That is, we have the Pentium 3, the Pentium 4, and later have the dual core. The fifth generation, 64-bit. In the fifth generation, the principal are low margin, high volume business conquered by a single processor, followed by Core i3, Core i5, Core i7 microprocessor in 2007, 2009, 2010, etc. These are some of the key points of the generation. Then, with the latest one we have now, which is the Core i9, which was established in May 2007, which we're going to discuss in the next slide. The Microsoft impact on the society. Evans VV 1997 stated that computer use will become more widespread and reach lower level of organization. Since side effects may have unanticipated social repercussions that we have which to avoid, we must constantly be on the lookout for them. The description of the system include the data connection, automatic computations and plotting of control charts, and sample plan. A microcomputer and inspection device are linked so that the inspection device can be measure a product physical properties, send a data to the computer and process and save the summary statistics. The computer programs accept the initial measure, calculate control limits, accept the additional data, plot them on a CRT or a process. Let's go to the advantage of Microsoft processor. Our high processor speed, compact size, easily maintained, can perform complex mathematics, flexible, can be improved according to requirements. Example, as we want to upgrade dual core to Core i3 if the board is compatible. Disadvantage of microprocessor: overheating occur due to overuse. Performance depend on the size of the data. Most processor do not support floating points, large bus size than microcontrollers. Smaller enabled full 32-bit RS and CRS microprocessor to be delivered with ever more complex microarchitecture, although this is in the 90s, include the cache memories, translation look aside buffer, etc. The demand for fast clock rate was the factor that the most heavy influential microprocessor architecture. The clock war results from the fact that the claim for extremely high clock rates, which frequently add a little to direct relationship to any performance benefit that a typical user may realize, became the primary market difference between the high-end CPU. The power has become a roadblock in the clock war of the 90s. 2010s, mobility, performance, and machine learning. With smartphones dominating the market for mobile phone handsets, the need for mobile data's bandwidth has increased dramatically over the past 10 years. The tablet has become popular alongside its large sibling and the smartphone, thanks in the part to Apple's first revolutionary product, advertisement and marketing. Instead of a mobile version of a PC, which past attempts to introduce mostly failed to do, the tablet's successful format has emerged as large screen variant of the smartphone. What additional choice exists if Moore's law is no longer produce progress? Microchips are still two-dimensional, with all the action taking place right on the top of a tiny silicon silver. The three-dimensional package, stacking microchips on the top of one another, is gaining popularity because it minimizes the distance that signal must travel from one chip to another. For example, from Microsoft processor to its memory. An illustration of a home appliance using a Microsoft processor. Example, computer system. The CPU controls all the processing that goes on within the computers. Washing machine. Processor control things like water temperature, valves to let the water in, valves to let the water out. Alarm system. Processor is used to detect intruders and set the alarm off the burglary alarm. Heating system. Processors are used to control things. Example, when the heat is switched on and off. Keep a constant temperature that can make use the temperature different from room to room. Intelligent fridge. You keep the food at optimal temperature and help to reduce waste. Food that are ideal to go bad soon and automatically move to the front of the fridge. The Intel Core i9 series CPU 10 to 13 generation, the Core i9 generation of 64-bit Microsoft processor from Intel provided a noticeable boost in core and thread counts. When using the Intel Turbo Boost, its frequency can reach up to 5.0 GHz from 2.9 to 30.6 GHz. The processor have a performance hybrid architecture made for intelligence, performance, optimal creation, and improved tuning that enable gamers to play games with clock speed up to 5.8 GHz, and as a result, they are not compatible with board from earlier generation. References are listed below.